You know the highest paid bodyguard in the world is a female, and she speaks 8 languages so that she can hear threats in 8 different languages. How many languages are there? Because that's how many I'm about to learn. Did you know that they say the most highly intelligent people in the world, they cuss a lot? And whoever they are, in my opinion, is the 150 roughly elite that if you've ever seen them in your lifetime, you have no idea. You don't know who they are. You don't know what color they are. You don't know their lineage. You don't know what they wear. You don't know if they're married. You don't know if they're straight. You don't know if they're transhuman, although I would imagine that they are not. And they say that these people meet in Germany once a year to decide the fate of billions and how they will control their minds, because keeping people entertained is keeping them controlled. This is very much so the Roman circus that you're all a part of because you want to be. So when I announced today that I'm going to become a preacher because I'm going to break down each and every word starting from the very beginning of this Bible, which says immediately there's an herb for everything. So the amount of programming that went into not immediately when you walk into a church and them telling you, are you on modern medication? Because that seems to be right here in the Bible. Are you unaliving and eating animals for absolutely no reason? Everything has a spirit. You know that? Are you hungry all the time? Maybe those animals inside of you are hungry all the time. Have you ever thought of that? So, most definitely, I'm a plant person. I got a comment earlier. I didn't really read it. It kind of sounded like a threat and a little bit, it was fear. So I'm like, well, what are they scared of? They're scared because I cuss. And so I'm never going to stop cussing. Fuck is my favorite word. Is it in the Bible that that's a bad word? So I had to gauge their fear meter. Why? It's because of the amount of people that I can reach by being a fucking realist. Real people cuss. Real people don't walk the most straight and narrow line because life happens. But did they walk that crooked line still with God to the best of their ability in the moment of that challenge? They pick themselves up and they dust themselves off immediately. It doesn't have to be a relapse. It can be an episode of use. And then you jump right back into this game. Okay? Those are the people that I want to talk to every day. Those are the people that I want to listen to me every day. So I want to tell you a quick story. There are certain things that I have prayed to God for, which one of them would be I was handled as a child by all of my mother's husbands. And that's another thing we're going to cover is these women bringing all these men around their kids and women out here thinking that you can just replace a man. So ultimately, my goal is to find a man, whether I have or not. You know, I have a twin flame that I keep going back to all the time. I've never done everything exactly right with him to where I can walk away and say, this guy got me sober. He might not be perfect. He might be a bootlicker. Mindy, don't do shit that's going to get the fucking police called, bitch, because people are tired of you going to jail. You're not going to be a very good preacher from inside of jail. I mean, there's a lot of them there. I mean, but so back to what I was saying is that I want to teach women that you want to find somebody that you love so much that God forbid something happens to them. You will carry out their dreams for them with your children. You will not replace these men that you decided to marry and have babies with and then have another man raising their kids. But the same goes for these men that are out here cheating backwards in time, looking for women that don't have stretch marks. And I'm not talking about on their stomach. I know what fucking time it is, bro. These men do not like Botox in your face. They don't like filler. They don't like perfume. They don't like the nails. They don't like the lashes. They can see that the lashes are plastic on your face, bro. I'm spitting. Sorry. They can see that you have 16 layers of makeup on. Yes, I have a smoothing filter on here. I'll fucking take it off. Fuck with me, bitch. I don't care. I have lines on my face. It's on TikTok. There's a smoothing camera. I turned it off. So that I could sit here and tell you that the filters are unnecessary because you have to love yourself. They already know you're not going to look like that when you get there. They already know that. So just be real. I mean, people are out here on Tinder. I always check to make sure I don't have fat rolls, and I forget that I don't, but it's a bad habit, right? So these people are out here on Tinder, and I know these guys show up and they're like, hey, is your sister here? Is there any chance that, well, I think I have the wrong apartment. While I personally think that filters are, some of them are to cover the shadows that sometimes you have on your face and sometimes you don't. Sometimes I look great, sometimes I don't. But I love myself, but whatever makes me feel more comfortable is what I'm going to do. But at the end of the day, my boyfriend knows exactly what I look like. You know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely not here to make friends or try to find a husband. So what I'm telling you is that my goal here in life is I'm going to go camping for 2 weeks and show women. My boss is going to promote, how do you say it? Sponsor that. So I got the tent, I got the power supply, I got a cooler, I've got to get a wood burning stove. And then I'm going to go out there and make content and I'm just going to do all the things that I know I need to do as a woman to where I can either, I'm never going to get married, but where I could live the rest of my life. And if something happens to him, I'm not going to date anybody else because I only had one great love in my life. And I wish that I could start this over and go backwards in time and know that that's how you should live your life, is searching for the one great love that you don't want to replace. Where you're just like, if something happens to him, what will I do? Well, I'm going to have to survive because I have children. And then what would he have wanted me to do with him and our children? And so I think that stops this vicious cycle of, and a lot of things play into that. When I was 47 and I said, I'm trying to get sober, and I was 46. I'm 47 right now. I always say 48 because it's just easier. So I'm trying to get sober and they keep trying to get me on progesterone. Everything I'm trying to tell them, because this is what I didn't understand, that the devil wears a lab coat. So everything I'm saying, they're trying to get me on progesterone. So I finally take it and I think maybe I need hormones. Is that what's wrong with me? Absolutely not. That dried my shit up. And I mean to tell you, it was basically worse than this. Just like that, bro. I'm telling you. And I looked at my boyfriend and he be wanting to have sex sometimes. And I'm like, because he's not like that. He's the one that taught me that I had been taught. Look at this tan line. That's atrocious. We're definitely going to have to do something about that. So he's the one that had taught me when we first met. He wanted to have sex and I wanted to wait because I thought that, he lived with me, but I wanted to wait to have sex with him. That was fucking stupid. So, and then he taught me, we had sex and it was great and everything. It was the best sex I had ever had. So, but I wasn't going to tell him that. And so I wanted more because I thought that that's life. You just have sex all the time. And he taught me. And so then I started to question myself, was the sex not that good for him? And then in a couple days, he wanted to have sex again. And he's like, Mindy, it's not all about sex. The sex was great, but I want to do other things. I don't know. And then I made him feel like something was wrong with him because he had just had a different outlook on life. So you got to find the yin and the yang. There has to be a balance to everything, including good and evil. It's never going to be all good. I'm never going to not cuss. So they say that intelligence is based on adaptability. It's not your IQ. My IQ happens to be on the website where I took my test. Every website's going to fluctuate. It's going to have a different scoring. So I got a 131 and I didn't even know it was pictorials. And it even said, you are completing this test 98% faster than the rest of the population. Would you like to slow down? And then, no, it doesn't seem quite necessary. So I definitely thought I was going to flunk it because I didn't know what it was. And I didn't graduate high school. So I say all that to say this is that I talk a lot. And so the FBI labeled me a master manipulator. So if these elite people that wear masks, if they go anywhere, if they even leave, okay, so I would imagine they do it on FaceTime. So I don't know. No one's ever seen the elite, ever. They're occupying you. They want your bread and they want the circus. The bread is your paycheck. The circus is the fucking stadiums. By the way, look at the aerial shots, their eyes, all of them, not just one, all of them, most of them. So all of them probably. So basically, what was I saying? And then the bread is your paycheck and the circus. So they used to unalive people for their circus. And when the laws went into effect, and I'm sure they were like, well, you really can't do that. They might even still do it. I don't know where we are. But basically, what I'm trying to tell you is that adaptability is how they decide how smart you are. How'd you maneuver when life was moving all around?